dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. We should do Whitney. Is that our first Whitney song we've ever done?
Mm-hmm.
We should do Whitney more often. She's a freaking singer, dude.
Yeah, she's a singer.
Yeah. She is a singer.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace.
Is this 44?
Yeah.
I don't know, off the top of my head, I don't know anybody. Donovan Mitchell's 45
Yeah.
next week.
Wasn't there a Dodgers pitcher at 44? Or was Rich Hill 44?
What's he, 44? Let me see.
Is Chris Sale 44? No, Chris Sale's 41. Rockies had a pitcher that was 44.
Hank Aaron. Gotta go with Hank Aaron.
Okay.
Boom. Former Dodger.
Former Rocky?
No. They wish.
Way before.
Yeah. I guess, way before the Rockies even existed as a franchise. Right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee and Contemplation. This is episode 44. Hank
Aaron. Yep, Hank Aaron.
Aaron.
Former Dodger.
Yeah, not a Rocky.
Long time ago. Nope,
Yeah.
he was around before the Rockies were. Before a lot of baseball teams were. Former home run leader.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, before Barry Bonds stole it all. Stole it all. Don't put it in quotes.
No, I'm saying like he stole.
Oh, yeah. Here's the interesting thing is they literally went back and caught him on steroids. I forgot how they found out, but they found out through testing somehow that he was on steroids in his career, and he just got to keep the home run record.
On MLB The Show, it just says San Francisco Giant. It doesn't even say
Doesn't
his
say
name.
Barry Bonds?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think it should still be Hank Aaron because maybe he did like the 1900s version of steroids, but Barry Bonds, like, I don't know.
Cocaine.
Have you ever seen the pictures of what Barry Bonds looked like?
Yeah.
Like in his first 5 years of his career compared to later? Insane.
Yeah, Carson was telling me like they were watching some documentary on him, and Kylie's like, "That's Barry Bonds," and he's like, "Yeah." It's like, that's not what he looks like at all. Yeah.
Same with Ryan Braun, what he looked like, and then he got his 1.5-year suspension when he came back. He was like a third of the size, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that dude was using steroids." Oh yeah,
he's pretty good.
He's still very good. He just doesn't hit as many home runs, but he's literally like chest and arm size is like a third of the size of what it was before. Crazy.
Yeah.
Same height.
Yeah.
But yeah, 44, Cam. We're creeping up on a year.
Yeah.
Well, we're creeping up on a year of episodes.
Yeah. I can go check when our first one was posted.
It's probably been close to a year because we've had to miss some because of COVID or one of us being out of town or whatever the case might be. But going strong.
Going strong. Yeah, we're almost at 52 episodes, which is like an equivalent to a year.
I feel like we're right around the year mark of the pandemic starting and everything getting shut down. I feel like we were posting episodes before that happened. Right? I feel like we started early 2020, like maybe January or February.
March 20th, 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
So this week, isn't today March 20th? Today's March 22nd. Okay.
Okay.
So happy 1 year anniversary in a way. 1 year anniversary episode, I guess.
Yeah.
But we'll do something special for 52.
Yeah.
We'll figure out what that is.
Yeah.
All right, Ken, what are we talking about today?
So, it is March 22nd, as we said.
Mm-hmm.
So, Falcon and Winter Soldier just started.
Yep.
We're one episode in. It's going to be 6 episodes.
Yep. Episodes come out on Fridays.
Yep.
Which, by the way, 6 episodes sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Especially because it seems like they might be a little bit longer than WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
So they might be about the same runtime as WandaVision.
Sure. I do think the first WandaVision episode was only like a half an hour. This one was more like 45 minutes.
Yeah, the first 2 WandaVision episodes were even shorter, I believe, combined than just one episode.
Yeah, because the first 2 episodes were quick, like 20
the first one was 17, the other one I think was 22.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And then this episode was like, without the credits, about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it, Cam?
I enjoyed it. There were some parts that were slow, but I kind of like that aspect of it being slow because you saw more of Falcon and Winter Soldier not being Falcon and Winter Soldier. You saw more of Sam and Bucky.
That's what I was going to talk about. So there's a thing, it's like easy to get burned out on the MCU because there's so many movies. And in a way, a lot of them follow a similar, here's the bad guy, go beat him up, you're going to beat him because you're the hero. Obviously, like Infinity War and Endgame are different, right? But like, right. But most of the time it's like very similar, so you can get burnout. But I like this a lot more, and it's why I liked Wanda and Vision, where you're learning more about the characters outside of the superheroes because you only have a limited amount of time in the movies. Well, now it's more of like a character study show, and it's awesome so far. I liked the whole like therapist scene with Bucky. I thought was pretty interesting because you're learning more about his background, especially me because I haven't really fully seen Winter Soldier. Or wasn't he in another main movie?
He's
for a while,
in all the Captain America movies.
Okay.
He's in all three. But he wasn't Winter Soldier in the first Captain America. He was Steve's friend in World War II.
Yep.
Steve wasn't even supposed to be in the war.
Not even supposed to be here today.
But he wanted to, but he was too small. But
Very,
he wanted to
Barry
be...
Bonds-ish.
He did get a steroid for sure.
Yes, he did. He got huge.
The super serum.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, he wanted to be like Bucky and join the army. So that's where you first see their friendship dynamic. And then, he's the Winter Soldier in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And then Civil War is about him trying to return to his old life before the Winter Soldier, but he still has the mind corruption from his time with Hydra. Yep.
I did like, too, he made a Black Panther reference, which was awesome. How he was like, that was like his favorite part of his life so far, where he was like the most relaxed in that piece, which I thought was really cool. Because you do kind of just see him hanging out there. Is that in Infinity War?
Yeah, because they bring him that gun. And the new arm, and he's like,
"I'm gonna get that arm."
And he's like, "When's the war coming, or when's the fight?" And he's like, "Any minute now."
Yep.
So
any minute now.
So he's kind of how Sam is too, because Sam was in Captain America, Civil War. And was he a Winter Soldier?
I don't remember.
I don't know if he was or not. I don't think he was.
Yeah.
But then he was in Infinity War. Yep. Oh, Falcon's actually in Ant-Man for a little bit. He makes a little cameo. One? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Ant-Man has to go to Avengers headquarters and get something, and he runs into Falcon. So,
that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's how. So Falcon must have been in Civil War because.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I don't know.
No, he was in Civil War. You mean Winter Soldier? Yeah.
But that's how they get Ant-Man to join Captain's side. Is because...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because Falcon knows about Ant-Man.
Isn't it, in Civil War, isn't it when you first get introduced to Spider-Man, doesn't he fight Falcon? Isn't that who he's fighting, like, in the subway?
Yeah, he fights Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them.
Let's go, and Peter Parker!
I forget what... Sam says to Bucky, but Bucky goes, "I hate you so much."
Yeah.
It's after their fight with Peter Parker. So
yeah, that was the very interesting part about this first episode. Is they're not connected at all yet.
Yeah. Sam keeps trying to reach out to Bucky.
Yep.
And Bucky's ignoring him.
Bucky's ignoring everybody. The way what his therapist said.
Yeah.
You haven't called. It was funny because she goes, "You haven't called anybody all week. How sad." Dude, I haven't called anybody in. When was the last time you called somebody? All I do is text people.
2 days ago.
Who'd you call?
My dad.
Lame. No, yeah.
I call my dad and my mom and my grandma the most. I don't really call my friends.
Yeah, I see my mom and my dad every day. Hopefully not for too much longer. But, yeah. Didn't mean it like that, but sure, why not? But I just thought that was ironic because I was like, yeah, our generation doesn't really call very much.
It's also funny each time she goes to write something down, he's like, "No, not the notebook."
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, the notebook, cool. Yeah. She's like, "If you're going to be quiet, I'm just going to write." And he's like, okay, listen. Yeah, that was a really cool scene.
Yeah. I'm not ready for when he tells his friend that he killed his son.
When do you think we're going to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to make amends, and you saw in the book he was at the top of his list. So, and that's who he's having nightmares about.
Sure. That's what I was wanting. So like that flashback scene in his nightmare was the scene with, what's the guy's name? Mr.
Starts with a Y.
Yeah, the Chinese guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. That was so sad.
Yeah, called his son when he was mind controlled.
Mm-hmm. Which makes me think the guy would understand if he's like, hey,
I
listen.
I think it's going to be a very emotionally heavy scene. I could see him understanding, like, you did not have the right mindset.
Sure.
But he could be like, I wish you told me sooner, like, especially if he knew.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because that's what he said. He said one of the hardest parts is not knowing how my son died.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he'll be like, oh, you should have told me sooner. But that's also hard to tell somebody.
Yes, exactly.
But that's why I like these Marvel shows so far. It's interesting to see, like I said, just outside of combat, you learn more about these characters' lives. And I find that really interesting. Like the whole, I had no idea that Falcon had a sister that has kids and all that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And they have like a family boat that his sister is trying to sell, but he doesn't want to sell it because it's like his family's legacy. But she's like, you were gone for 5 years and I had to do all this while you were gone. He's like, well, I was blipped. Right. Like, yeah, but I was still here.
That was an interesting scene at the bank too, when the guy's like, you had no income for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And then he kind of throws it right back in his face. He's like, well, like millions of people, I wasn't here for the last 5 years. Which I feel like that's totally, because like banks are kind of corrupt, you know, and like, not just, but like the whole banking system. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, wow, that's actually like really interesting to think about how like healthcare or banking or any of that would work for people that did get blipped.
Yeah. So
that's a really interesting insight, and I want to see more of that throughout the season.
Yeah. The villainous group looks pretty interesting too.
Yeah, what are they called? The Black Fist?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But they wanted to go back to how the world was before everybody blipped back.
Yep.
So that'll be really interesting.
They thought the world was better during the blip.
And they keep calling that main person that they were fighting, or I guess Torrance was calling a guy, but in the trailer, it's a girl.
Oh, really?
The masks they were wearing.
Yeah, those masks are sweet, by the way.
She puts it on and like smiles and charges, so I think she might be like the leader of that group. But yeah, I think this first episode just, in general, was a slower introduction.
Right.
Based off the trailers, it looks like there's going to be a lot more action sequences.
Yeah.
The only real action sequences was the first 5-10 minutes
the
of
opening,
the episode.
and it was an awesome action sequence. I feel like the budget for this show is even higher than the budget for WandaVision was.
Yeah.
It looks like.
I think more people are like Bucky so much because he's been around for so long.
And I think you associate Bucky and Falcon with like pure action more than you do with Wanda and Vision.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think you're right. There's going to be much more action sequences for sure.
And you still haven't seen Sam and Bucky together yet.
Nope. If it's only 6 episodes, it's got to be the second episode.
Yeah, it's got to be second or third. Yeah.
Yeah, they come out Friday mornings, by the way, or Thursday nights.
They come out Friday morning, 1 a.m.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. Let's talk about the ending of the episode.
Okay. Or we can talk about what led up to that. So the episode after the action sequence, it cuts to Sam putting on like a suit, and then he goes to, I think it's the Smithsonian, or it's just a museum.
Sure.
And he gives the shield to the museum, and he's talking to the guy, and he's like, that was a very smart decision for you. Thanks for doing that.
You also get to hear Captain America's voice for a minute in the very beginning when he's asking about the shield, and he's like, it doesn't feel right, and it's like old Captain America. Are you sure about that? He doesn't sound like that, but that's what he says.
I also like how sarcastic Sam is too. They ask him like, "What's Steve doing?" And he's like, "Oh, he's just chilling on the moon." Yeah,
they're like, we heard he went to like a moon base. And then he's leaving, and he's like, where are you going? To do moon stuff. Yeah, really right. Cool, really cool.
So then that's like in the first 10-15 minutes.
Yep.
And then you see the therapist, and you see Sam dealing with the boat.
Which I like that. I like that a lot. Did it say, I did say, but I missed it, where that boat is? Somewhere in Louisiana, right?
Louisiana,
yeah. Really cool.
Yeah, he's like driving his truck, and you see the swamplands and everything.
Yep.
Bubblegum.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that. Very similar, like the shrimping nets and the shrimping boats and stuff. Yeah.
And then another fight sequence breaks out with that group.
We'll just call them the Fist for now, because we don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, and then it cuts to Sam's sister walking in, and she's like, "You need to see this."
Mm-hmm.
And it's that same guy he was talking to. Like, you made the smart decision by giving us the shield and remembering Cap's legacy, and he's all like, "We need a new hero. We need a new vision for hope and all that stuff." And he rolls out some weird looking Captain America in the suit and everything.
John Walker. Yeah. It's his name. Doesn't tell us that, but Google confirms it's John Walker, who is a character in the comic books, apparently. I looked it up because it's funny because a lot of the times I ask you about the MCU information because you know much more about it than I do. So I was like, this week I'm going to be on top of it and I'm going to know as much as you do. I'm going to Google some stuff. And then you came over and I was like, so this John Walker guy. And you're like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, the situation is reversed. So apparently, John Walker's, I don't know what comic series he's in, but apparently he's like a knockoff Captain America when Captain America isn't around. He's
just so smug.
Oh, he's so smug, dude. I was like, get him out of here. Yeah. I thought that was a great ending to the episode because he gets the fans like riled up.
Yeah, and it's Sam's like shaking his head too.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, he's gonna go get that shield back.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go mess him up.
And you've seen in the trailer they're tossing the shield back and forth with each other. So.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's get to Torrance's character.
Okay, but I have one quick question for you. Where is Bucky's? Is it vibranium? His arm?
Mm-hmm.
Is he have it? Is he wearing it? Okay.
It's also his left arm.
Okay, Cam, listen. Relax. Okay. I was just curious if he like had it stored somewhere or if he always has it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yes, Torrance.
So did you like Torrance?
Yeah, Torrance is a cool character. We're familiar with him from the MCU or
not from the MCU, but he is young Falcon in the comics.
Oh,
so yeah, Torrance,
it's like a Batman and Robin kind of situation.
Kind of, yeah. But Falcon, Sam's Falcon has a suit wing, like a wing suit. It's not part of his body.
Right.
It's kind of like how Iron Man is.
Except for the heart.
Yeah. But Torrance is like a mutant, like an X-Men.
Okay.
He has wings in his body.
That's cool.
So people are saying because
how do you know this? Did it talk about it in the show and I just missed it? Okay, you just know this.
I just know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't read the comics.
Right.
I look up in TikTok also. There's this guy that I follow that breaks down each episode, and he broke down Torrance as being the young Falcon from the comic.
So he hasn't been in any of the movies or anything. Okay.
But yeah, there's the Young Avengers movie that it looks like there might be happening.
That'd be cool.
Because that guy in Endgame, the kid from Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah.
Will probably be like young Iron Man.
That'd be awesome. I love that kid.
And then Ant-Man's daughter. Is supposed to be like, I forget what she's called. Mm-hmm. But she's gonna be part of it. And then young Falcon.
Yeah, so that'd be awesome.
There's talks that Sam will get the shield back and become Captain America, and then Torrance will become the new Falcon.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah. Where do you think Captain America is? Like the actual Steve Rogers.
He's just chilling at home.
You think he's just hanging out? Okay. Because I remember at the end of Endgame, he goes in back in time with Sarah. What's the girl's name? Come on, Cam. Don't give me the look. It's been a year or two since I've seen Endgame. Peggy. Thank you. I was close. Tell me about her. I don't think I will. I remember that, but then I didn't remember if it showed us him after that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you think he's just chilling, enjoying retirement.
Yep.
Cool.
We might see old Steve again.
I hope. We heard his voice, so I'm confident he might make a quick cameo in the show.
Yeah, Kevin Feige or even the Russo brothers, I don't remember, but they were talking about how they want to like reintroduce him in a subtle way.
That'd be super
cool. Give him a proper goodbye or something like that. Even though I think he already got a pretty good goodbye in Endgame.
I agree.
Yeah, so I think he's just chilling somewhere. He might make an appearance like.
Do you think he was watching the news?
Oh,
mad
I could
about
see that.
Smug?
That might be like his appearance
Captain America?
To be like, hey, I'm Steve Rogers. Like,
or maybe he shows up to talk to Falcon and be like, you got to go get the shield back.
That could be.
That'd be cool. That'd be a very cool scene.
I could also see that guy that works for the museum and announce the new Captain America being part of that Black Fist or the Fist group.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then hiring that Captain America, the new Captain America, to take people's minds off of what the Fist are doing.
Sure, definitely. Like a scapegoat kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize there was only 6 episodes. That means things are gonna have to start going here pretty quick. Because WandaVision was 9. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They are longer though.
Yeah.
At least so far.
Yeah, 45. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
I liked the credit sequence was cool too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be just like WandaVision where it's always like the same look, but the graphics of it were super cool. And like I was texting you, the opening to the MCU gets me every time. The bum 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 bum. Oh, it's so good. Mm-hmm. And I love sometimes depending on what's happening. Sometimes it'll happen the very first thing, or sometimes there will be like a cold open of whatever, like a minute or two, like in WandaVision that happened a couple times, and then go into it. Or like the opening, I think my favorite one was the opening to Endgame with Hawkeye's family. That happens before the bum bum bum, and I was like, oh man. So I just love that opening. It gets me every time. It's like a nostalgic thing, even though it's new.
Yeah.
Cool. What else did you want to say for Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I really like the setup for this villainous group.
Me too.
There's a lot of mystery around them.
Yeah.
Don't really know what they are, how powerful they are. I would assume they're gonna be powerful because that's one thing Marvel's really good at is they don't decline in like villains.
They're great villains.
Just not all their movies have great villains like Thor: Dark World, whoever the heck that guy was.
The Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like,
it was
twist,
it was definitely a cool twist, but then you're like, oh, he's like not really a villain. I thought it was a cool twist, but as a villain, he's kind of weak. Yeah. But storytelling wise, was awesome. But then obviously like Hela Thor Ragnarok is awesome.
Since Thor Ragnarok, I think each villain's been pretty great.
Yeah, even in Doctor Strange, the villain.
Dormammu.
Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Is a cool villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Thanos is top tier.
He's an all-time villain.
But even after Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ghost was a pretty good villain. I don't know if you've seen that.
Sadly, no.
And then Mysterio.
Yeah, Mysterio was awesome. I was so hyped when I heard Mysterio because Spider-Man, out of all the MCU characters, Spider-Man is the only one that I have a past with before any of the movies. Like before Iron Man, the original Iron Man.
It would be Hulk for me because I watched the 2003.
Oh yeah,
Hulk
back in the day. With who was in that one, dude? I don't remember, but that where he fights like the alternate Hulk at the end. Yeah. That movie was pretty good. People hate on it, but it was for its time. But yeah, the Spider-Man movies when I was a kid were awesome. I loved the Spider-Man video games. Never read the comics, but watched the cartoon. So I just love Spider-Man already. And then Iron Man was like my introduction, everybody's introduction to the MCU. But other than that, Spider-Man's the only previous one I had. So when Mysterio got announced, I was like, this is, and it was Jake Gyllenhaal. It was awesome. And they switched it because normally with Mysterio, a lot of the times you don't know who he is. He's mysterious, no pun intended, but he is. He never takes the helmet off or anything. So it was cool that he was so personal. Yeah. In Far From Home.
Yeah, you even got like a villain background story too in that.
And he even meets Peter like face to face and everything. It's really cool. It's cool. I love that movie.
And they bring back a lot of people that used to work for Tony. That are all like part of this group too.
Yep. Dude, this Far From Home is so good. And then the Mysterio scenes where he's in Spider-Man's head and the zombie Iron Man is chasing him. Oh, dude, it's so good. Yep. Why is it not on Disney Plus?
Got Xfinity. Could have watched it on Free Movies Week.
You could have watched one of any movies. I know. It's all Sony's fault, which is sad because I love Sony.
Yep.
Except for that.
I own Homecoming on my PS4.
Coming over.
Okay.
I'm Homecoming to you.
Sweet.
Yeah, I didn't have too much else I wanted to say about Falcon Winter Soldier.
It's the first episode. Right. Great pilot.
Definitely.
I think it'll just get better from here. With only being 6 episodes, there might not be a lot of filler episodes like with Mandalorian and WandaVision.
It's interesting you say that because I agree with you with it being so short, but watching both WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier, as much as I'm enjoying them, makes me miss Mandalorian. Yeah. I love The Mandalorian. I think that's still my favorite Disney Plus show. Yeah, for sure. So good. I just love that universe.
Yeah, Star Wars universe is insane.
So cool. That's why I read those books like a freaking nerd, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Birdman, was that all you had for Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know what to play for Lost Boys.
That's a great question. You could just pick one of the songs that are in the movie.
Yeah.
There's the one that plays a couple times throughout whenever something creepy's happening.
There's one that they do by Aerosmith.
Yeah, Walk This Way. Yeah. Yeah, the soundtrack was killer. You're going to walk this way. Talk this way. Walk this way. Talk this way. Just give me a kiss. Oh, we might get copyright strike for this. Okay. Or we can just play through the...
Doesn't sound good on the audio. Yeah. If it gets trimmed out, then it's fine.
Okay. Sorry, video people, if you had to miss that.
Yeah.
But we played Walk This Way by Aerosmith. YouTube's just very picky, even for our small-time podcast.
We played the Jack Torrance, the Shining song, and that didn't get copyright strike. So we might be good. Might not be, especially since that's a more known song.
Yeah, than Al Baldy's 1961, whatever. Midnight, the Stars, and You.
But that is from the 1987 movie, The Lost Boys.
Yep, which I had never seen before last night / this morning.
So yeah, it's one of my favorite movies from the 80s. So it's kind of similar to how it was with The Shining. I had never seen The Shining, but it's one of Brent's all-time favorite movies from the 80s.
Yep.
But yeah, so since you had never seen it, what did you think about it?
I'll tell you just 1 second, but I just want to ask you one question. When did you first see this movie? Were you like really young?
No, I was probably in high school, I would say. Because I think my mom, we did a movie night, and my mom was like, let's watch The Lost Boys.
Nice.
Because we had none of, my sisters and I had never seen it, so, and that's a rated R movie too, so, so I think she waited for us to be a little bit older. So I was probably like 16 or 17.
Sure. I just didn't know if you were like a little kid or something like that. Because like when I first saw like The Shining, I was really young, or Stand By Me, or like all those old school movies, I was pretty young. But yeah, I'd never seen The Lost Boys. I'd heard of it. I don't have a lot of experience with vampire stories to begin with, so this is my experience with vampire stories, okay? There was a couple episodes of the show Supernatural where they fought vampires. Cool episodes. The book Salem's Lot by Stephen King is about vampires. Great book. And then, do you remember the Disney Channel original movie, My Mom's Got a Date with the Vampire?
Yeah.
Oh, great movie.
Yep.
Those are probably the only things I've ever seen.
You include Twilight Roll?
Yeah. Never seen Twilight. Never read Twilight. Apparently the soundtracks are pretty good though, actually.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Yep.
The movies have gotten so like badly good. Like the acting is just terrible, but the storyline's like really compelling because you got the villainous vampires, the good vampires, the blood-sucking vampires, the animal. Yeah. So yeah. I did one time. That's why those movies are fun, but you have to get past the bad acting.
Yeah, one of my exes liked the show The Vampire Diaries.
Oh, Kinsey loves that show.
I've never seen it, but apparently it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've watched a few episodes with her. And the first time she was watching it, I was pissing her off because I was like, "Who's that guy?" Just, like, asking questions all the time.
Yeah.
But
it's like season 3 or whatever. Yeah.
But she's watched it a few times now. And I came over a few weeks ago and she was watching it, and I was asking her questions. Like, oh, this is what happens. This is what happened. So she knew a lot more about it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Vampire Diaries is pretty good.
Yeah, and then I think True Blood is also a vampire show. I don't know anything about the show except for the fact that it's called True Blood, and that just sounds like a vampire show, right?
Kind of.
Are you looking it up? Give it a little peek. But yeah, so I really liked The Lost Boys. I didn't know what to expect from it. You told me it was about vampires. That was all I knew. I didn't know if it was more of like a campy movie or a horror movie or just a fun like comedy. And it's kind of a mix of all three of those things. It's maybe the most 80s movie I've ever watched in my life.
So we talked about The Goonies last week.
Yep.
And that came out in 1985, so right in the middle of the 1980s. Lost Boys came out in 1987, so 2 years after The Goonies, right at the end of the 1980s. And it's way more 80s.
It's so 80s, in the best way.
Yeah.
Like, in the best way possible. It's so campy.
The Corey Haim, so Sam, his outfit when they first go to Santa Clara, when he's walking in
in the comic book
in the
store.
comic book store, that's the most 80s outfit I've ever seen.
100%.
The long jacket,
Yeah.
and like the flashy. What kind of art style is that?
I don't know what you would call that, to be honest with you.
But yeah, just shapes, random
Yeah,
color,
like they even come
shapes,
up with, I forgot what they say, but they make fun of him somehow when they introduce themselves. But yeah, it was interesting because Corey Feldman is in this movie and Kiefer Sutherland is in this movie, so it's like a Stand By Me reunited.
Yeah, and also Corey Feldman's in The Goonies, which came out only 2 years earlier.
Right.
And he, freaking puberty, man.
I think he has an intentionally deep voice. Like, I think he tries to play it up more.
Yeah, they're called the Frogs.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the way they talk, I think they're trying to sound more grown up than they are. But I love how when you first meet them, you don't take them seriously at all because they're like, oh, we're vampire hunters, and I'm like, okay, like they're just kids, like they're playing pretend, like they're fun. They're actually vampire hunters, and it's awesome. Yeah. What are the two kids' names? Because Sam is the kid that moved from Phoenix to.
Yeah, they call him Mr. Phoenix.
Yeah, Mr. Phoenix. What are the two kids' names that are the vampire hunters? Corey Feldman and his friend.
They're just called the Frogs.
Okay, because I was like looking forward to the movie and I was like, I don't know if
they'd say their first names, but I don't really remember it when they do that dinner with Max.
Oh right.
I think
that scene was great.
Yeah, I think Sam introduces them as their first names.
Okay.
But I don't really remember them. I just always refer to them as the Frog Brothers.
Yeah, you always give me crap about not remembering names, so I'm trying to be better about being more conscious of the names.
Do you remember Sam's brother's name?
Michael.
Nice.
The only reason.
Do you remember their mom's name?
Does it start with an M?
No.
No, then I don't.
Lucy,
damn.
Do you remember Kiefer Sutherland's character's name?
I remember the girl's name is Star.
Yep.
Because that's like
Do you
that's
remember
so easy
her
to remember.
brother's name? That's a tough one. I didn't remember it until they finally said it.
What's the first letter of Kiefer Sutherland's character's name?
D.
Daniel? No. I don't know. David, okay. And then what? I don't know the brother's name. Laddie. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's the only reason I knew that is because on IMDb his name is like it comes up as Laddie. It's like the well, he shows up on the milk carton actually. That's where I saw it. That's because it's like in quotes Laddie because it must be a nickname or something. Which by the way, dude, I remember when I was a kid seeing like missing children or whatever on milk cartons. When was the last time you saw something like that?
I don't really see them anymore.
Me neither. I think the internet totally changed the way that works.
And they post them on bulletin boards too.
Yep, even just social media, like on Twitter, like "oh kid missing," Amber Alerts that you get to your phone. Yeah. I just thought that was interesting because I was like, this is definitely like like an era of the milk carton. Because even when I was a kid in 1986 is when I was born, so into 2000, I remember seeing like milk carton kids, not knowing what that meant back in the day. But so that was a cool little cutaway. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I really liked the movie. Let's talk about that scene.
The Max scene.
The Max scene. Yeah. So you gave me a little bit of shit. Yeah. Because I had no idea he was a vampire. Yeah. I did not see it coming. Only because I did suspect him at first. Because he seemed like a little too nice and a little too friendly.
And then the Lost Boys come in.
Right.
And he's like, I told you guys not to come in here anymore. So you're like, maybe he knows them.
Yeah, maybe he knows them. And then also right before that, they get kicked out of somewhere else where the guy was off the carousel. Yeah. The guy's like, I told you guys not to come around here anymore.
That's the first time you like actually see vampire like kill.
Yeah. Yep. That's like kind of the opening to the movie too. So then it kind of is like, okay, I think shop owners just hate these guys in general, so it gives you another reason not to suspect the guy. And then at dinner they give him the garlic, and he's fine.
That's a great way to like disguise garlic.
100%.
Yeah. The Parmesan too.
The mom's like, how does that happen? Yeah, he's like, oh, I like garlic. This is just a lot. And then they
he takes like 5 scoops. Yeah.
And then he's like, here, try some water, and they expose the water on him.
And then they turn the lights off and then do the mirror.
Got the mirror in the face,
and you can see the reflection.
That's one of my favorite scenes from My Mom's Got a Date with the Vampire. Is when they're I remember it creeping me out, even though it's so cheesy, but when you're a little kid, the mom's at dinner, and the kids are like outside of the restaurant looking in the window, and they see a mirror, and the mom's sitting at the table by herself. Like, oh my God, she's a vampire. So I knew that vampires couldn't see reflections, so that's why they were doing it. And the brother at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
His reflection's all weird.
Yep.
I liked how...
They're half vampires. Do you know why?
No.
So Star, Laddie, and Michael are all half vampires. Because he drinks the blood. Right. But you don't turn into a full vampire until you do your first kill.
Okay, gotcha. Because I thought the movie was going to take a darker turn where Michael turns into a vampire pretty early in the movie. And I thought that he was going to turn evil and that they were going to have to hunt the brother. Because, like I said, like I don't have much vampire experience, and Salem's Lot is a dark book. Like there's some messed up stuff that happens in that book, but this is like a campy 80s movie, so Michael ends up helping them and fighting back against...
Well, not Max yet.
Well, I was going to say, I literally already forgot his name.
David.
Keeper David, thank you. I want to say Daniel for some reason.
I can't remember the other vampire names.
It's
like,
not important. Yeah.
Is it Bill or Ted? Is one of the vampires.
I don't know. One of them is a very famous actor, though, from a couple different movies.
Well, one of them is Bill or Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Never seen it.
You've never seen
I know it's...
any of the three now?
Never seen any of them.
Oh my goodness.
I know, dude. I know.
It's basically a rip-off of Wayne's World, but it's still hilarious.
Never seen Wayne's World. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You told me to watch.
Your
You
face.
told me to
I
watch
got
that
you.
movie.
Yeah, Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2. I've seen a bunch of times. Yeah. Your face. That was a good one.
I was like, then who told me to watch the movie?
Yeah, that'd be funny. I'm like, bro, you should watch this, and I've never seen it. Yeah. No, those like 80s like comedy like that, and like it's not 80s, but like Clerks and stuff like that. I told you to watch all those movies.
Yeah.
Clerks is I love Clerks.
Well, you didn't tell me to watch Clerks. You just like, have you ever seen this? And I was like, no.
Did we watch it together for the
that's
first
when we
time?
were at your place.
My old apartment.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we might be getting a new, not studio, but we might be recording in a new location in the next couple months because I'm moving out.
Are you for sure now?
It's 98%.
Okay. Do you know your roommate?
Probably Brody.
Where?
But there's a couple of options if Brody doesn't want to. I'm house sitting at the place in 2 weeks. I told Brody to come by and check it out, so he can come look at it to make sure he wants to. But as far as like the place being mine, I think it's gonna be. It would just be finding a roommate at that point.
I see.
Yeah. So if you notice it's not till July, so it's a couple months. But if you notice that all of a sudden everything looks different, there's a reason.
It does look different from the first video one. No backpacks.
No backpacks, and that might be the only difference.
That's the only difference.
Yeah, but
no guitar.
No guitar.
Yeah.
You might notice. So I live at my parents' house right now. We are recording upstairs at their place. When I move into a new place, it's going to be most likely 2 guys living there, so there's not going to be stars and all this feng shui going on.
Those are mirrors too, not just stars.
Yeah, those are legit like reflective mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Cam, can I see your reflection? Are you a vampire? How are we looking?
I can't see my own. I can't see.
Oh,
I can't see
no.
you either.
Oh no! But yes, just so you guys know, if you notice us, it's because I moved out. So good on me.
Yeah. So the first vampire that the Frog Brothers kill in their cave is Bill from Bill and Ted's.
Okay, that was the guy that I knew was from Bill and Ted's because he's so famous, but I've just never seen the movies.
Yeah.
And he looks exactly the same because the first Bill and Ted is an 80s movie?
91.
Okay. And which is funny because him and Keanu Reeves don't really age. They both look pretty young in the new one, at least in the trailer from what I saw.
He aged.
Can I say this real quick? He aged pretty good. Oh yeah, he did age. He did age. But I mean, look at Keanu Reeves. Are you kidding me, dude? He looks younger now than he did in freaking Matrix or any of those movies, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Crazy. But yeah, dude, I really liked Lost Boys, and let's talk about the grandpa, because he was one of my favorite characters. I loved him a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think about the grandpa, Cam?
Great character.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know the rule about filling up the car when you take it without asking? No, Grandpa. Well, now you do.
Yeah. He's like, let's go to town. I thought you said we were going to town. That's as close to town as I like to get. I think he was just so funny. He's got one of the best lines in the movie at the very end. Mm-hmm. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so I thought it was a great 80s mix between comedy and horror and camp. Video people. Yes. Video people, hang on for 1 second. So we're recording directly above the garage. And when the garage door opens, the mics pick it up like crazy. So we cut it out of the podcast. So we have to wait for the garage to open.
Because we like audio to be professional.
We'd like the audio to be professional. And the good news is the new place I'm moving into,
no garage.
No garage or doorbell, which is good for my dog. Nice. She barks at the doorbell.
You probably see his dog more, too, because she usually hangs out with your mom when we're recording.
Definitely. Yeah, so probably we might even be able to set up the camera in such a way that she can just lay in her bed near us and be a part of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. Have you ever watched any videos from Steve-O's new podcast?
Mm-hmm.
He has a dog named Wendy, German Shepherd, and he sits on a couch and she always lays on him while he's recording. And she's so cute, dude.
Okay, so did the garage reclose?
It hasn't yet. I was waiting for it to, but we can start it up again, and then just stop when it closes. But I feel like it's gonna be any second. So video people, hey, let's go. Video people might even be able to hear that. It's so loud, and we can feel.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and we can feel it's directly under our feet. Yeah, but yeah. When we come back, we'll talk about the grandpa.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, we were talking about the grandpa.
Mhm.
Did you like in the fridge? He's got like that little shelf marked off with the cardboard that says "Old Fart." It's like his root beer and stuff. Yeah.
It reminds me because so many like old people, like grandparents and stuff, are so set in their ways, and I loved how they like play on that as like a joke, and I thought that was awesome. Mm-hmm. And even like we'll talk about it again, but at the very end of the movie, the refrigerator is just covered in blood, and he walks over and just grabs a root beer out of it. And I was like, this is awesome. Yep. This is so cool, dude.
We were talking about Max for a little bit, right? All the tests.
Yes.
And how I gave you crap for not knowing.
Mm-hmm. That he's the head vampire, right?
But I understand why you wouldn't know before he says that.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, so because me and Cam text a little bit before to get like some. We talked. I mean, this is why we started the podcast. We talk about movies we watch and all that. But I did suspect the guy for a little bit just because it's a classic switch to have like an innocent guy really be the villain. But as soon as they did the tests, I was like, oh, he's clean. Because I didn't know the whole rule about...
Yeah, so if you're the head man of the house, or like the man of the house, and you invite a vampire in, they're basically immune to garlic and light.
Yeah, they just say they're powerless, basically. The humans are powerless. Yeah. I did think it makes even more sense once you know the twist, but I was already a little curious about their interaction when he meets him at the door. And then he's like, I want to come in, but I'm going to wait for the permission from the man of the house. And part of me was like, okay, he's just being respectful because their father's passed away. No, he hasn't passed away. They're just divorced, right?
Yes or no?
Yeah, the mom says something about divorcing the dad, and then I don't know. He's not in the picture. We'll just say that. So I thought it was like, okay, he's just being respectful of the dad. But just the way he said it was a little ominous. He's like, I'm waiting for you to invite me in, which definitely seems like a creature feature kind of situation. And it makes it even more obvious once you already know.
Yeah. And then another little clue to show that he is a vampire is when Lucy, so the mom, goes to visit Sam for apologizing for leaving their dinner.
Oh, yeah?
Sam's reading the comic book that the Frog Brothers gave him about vampires. And
read this, man, it might save your life.
I forget exactly what they call the dog, but that's who Thorn is like his protective dog.
What a cute dog, too. Husky. Beautiful dog.
They're both huskies, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Anook, that's such a cool name for a dog.
So sweet, dude. I've heard that name before somewhere. Do you know where that would be from?
I don't know.
Because maybe it's someone that named their dog that or something, but that name is definitely an existing name already.
Yeah.
Sweet name.
But yeah, so Thorn is like the protective dog over Max, and Sam's like reading about the dogs, and then it cuts right to Thorn, and you're like, oh, that's odd that it switched right to him.
Yep, the way it swaps.
So
I actually don't. Thorn might have been like a husky mix. I'm trying to remember what Thorn looked like, but the other dog was definitely a husky.
So the family dog is definitely a husky.
Which was super sad because when Michael comes home the first time that he's a vampire and the dog attacks him, I was like, don't kill the dog. Yeah. Please don't kill the dog.
He saves their life. Well, he saves the Frog Brothers' lives.
Yep, definitely. And all the dog does is bite Michael, and Michael doesn't kill the dog. And that was when
I think that's when he wakes up from like his trance of trying to hurt Sam.
Yep, and that's when I kind of realized that, okay, this movie isn't going to be as dark as I thought it was because Michael is fighting the temptation because he hasn't turned full vampire yet. He's fighting the temptation to be evil. And he even has that conversation with Star where he's like, I'm exactly like your... I'm exactly like David.
Oh. Yeah.
And she's like, no, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so he's gonna fight to be good.
Yep. That's also when like the final fight too between David and Michael. David's like, I gave you the chance to be immortal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you wanted to make me a killer.
Yeah, it's such an '80s line, but I loved it when he goes. David's talking to Michael and he's like, "You've got your blood in me," and then he's like fighting back. He's like, "I've also got my blood in me." Such an '80s line, but such a badass line at the same time.
Also, it's not David's blood.
Whose blood is it?
Max's.
Oh, did he say Max's blood?
I don't know if it was Max, if he said that, but
maybe he says you have vampire blood in you or something, and then he's like, "I also have my blood in me." I missed that it was Max's blood, so that's what he drinks in the beginning.
So that's what he drinks. That's when they find out that Max is actually the head vampire. He's like, David was just a cover for you, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I would have figured. I mean, they kind of set it up this way, but I figured that David was the head vampire.
Yeah.
Just because he's the leader of the Lost Boys, except for Max, obviously, which you don't find out till later. But it's funny because he plays a very similar role in Stand By Me, where he's like the leader of the bullies, and now he's the leader of the vampires.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, he plays a lot of villains in the 80s.
Yep.
And then, what's his name in 24? Jack something?
Jack Summers, something like that.
Might be Summers.
It's something like
Jack
that.
something,
Yeah. Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer.
Yeah. Did you ever watch 24?
Yeah.
Such a good show. I only watched the first 2, maybe 3 seasons.
Then I don't know if they got canceled or they just ended it, but then they came back a few years ago, I think.
Yeah, I think like maybe 5 or 6, but they came back for like a season or 2. I think overall they did 7 or 8, and they were all supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I watched the first, I want to say 2, and loved it a lot.
Yeah.
If you've never seen 24, it's about this FBI agent.
Yeah, and he has 24 hours till they find the killer. Every
episode, or every season is 24 episodes, and every episode is an hour in the day, which I always thought that's a great storytelling device. And that was an awesome show to watch. It used to be on Netflix. Like when Netflix first was streaming, that's how I watched it.
My parents would watch it on TV. I was too young to watch it, so I think I watched it like you did when I was old enough. But when they were watching it, they told me to go in my room, and I couldn't come out until the commercial break.
Oh yeah.
And you know the little like dun.
Oh yeah.
Like the little clock.
Yeah.
When it would go
or
to
the dun 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 dun.
When it would go to commercial break, I'd be leaning against the door. Then when I hear that, I'd run downstairs and grab like a snack and go to the bathroom and run back upstairs.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Yeah, so it's funny seeing him be like the hero in that show, but then like his origin was as bullies and bad guys in the 80s.
Yeah. So before we started recording, I said I was going to read you something. I don't know who's leaving.
Lauren. I don't know. Video people, we explained to you the situation, so just bear with us for a minute, and we'll be good to go. How are you guys doing, though? How are you guys doing out there?
Let us know down in the comments.
Let us know down in the comments. Let us know if you guys have any suggestions of 80s movies that we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
Let us know, because we've got a big list going. I also wanted to talk to you about, you said something a little bit ago that reminded me of a movie that we should totally do. I think it's an 80s. It might even be a 70s, but I think it's an 80s. But have you ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yes. That's 80s.
I think it's 80s too, but it might be like early 80s. Yeah. We should definitely do that movie. That's a fantastic one.
I also watched the remake one with like Victoria Justice.
I didn't even know they remade it.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like a remake that they did in theaters. They did you know how they did like the Grease or the Hairspray, like live theater thing. They did that for Rocky Horror Picture Show. Also.
Gotcha. It's a great movie. We should definitely do that one.
I'd like to do that. It might be set.
It might be like, I feel like it's like 81. Like I feel like it's right on the edge, because it is pretty old.
Yeah.
His head fell off. He was getting pretty old. But
that's 90s.
Yeah, we should definitely add that to the list though. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Maybe next week we could do Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because we know that's coming up. We also have Back to the Future, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club.
Can't Buy Me Love, because you've never seen that.
Never seen Can't Buy Me Love. Most of the 80s movies we've both seen that we're going to cover eventually. Karate Kid.
Yep.
There's our 80s list. Like I said though, video people, I'm sure there's a couple that we haven't mentioned.
Yeah, and if you want us to do like 90s, you're like switch to 90s and have a few 90s.
Yeah, we could alternate. We could always come back to the 80s and then even do like 2000s. Like we could just do like a decade theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so many great 80s movies. One of the best decades for movies, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So before we started recording, I wanted to read you off something and get your genuine reaction.
Don't cry, Genuine. She didn't mean it. Yes, she did. Okay.
Okay. So The Lost Boys is inspired by Peter Pan.
Is it really?
The role of Max is inspired by Peter himself, as he is the leader of the Lost Boys and immortal.
They're even called the Lost Boys, aren't they, in Peter Pan? I never put that together.
Just like Peter, he wishes to not only initiate new members, but also a mother. This mother is Mary/Wendy and is the driving force for the plot of The Lost Boys, as it is the main reason Michael is initiated in the first place, to get Lucy to become the mother of the Lost Boys.
Dang, dude, that is crazy.
And then Max's dog, Thorn, may also be linked to Tinkerbell, as she is seemingly jealous and defensive of Wendy/Mary, even when they meet, and is his protector.
Wow, dude, that's crazy. I never would have guessed that, which is hilarious because they're literally called the Lost Boys.
Wait, I thought the mom's name was Lucy.
Oh yeah, what'd you say just now?
Mary. On that.
Yeah, you definitely said Lucy earlier in the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Lucy. I don't know.
Is Mary the mom's name in Peter Pan? Maybe?
No, it's Wendy. Wendy Darling.
Well, Wendy's the daughter, though. She's not like who's the mom of the kids?
No, Peter goes to go... He wants a daughter, or a mother for all the Lost Boys, and that's why he falls in love with Wendy, because he wants Wendy to become the mother.
That's right.
To the Lost Boys.
Does Wendy have a mom? And is her name?
Yes, but it's not Mary.
Mary? Okay. Then that article is just got it wrong. Yeah, it sounds like...
It's even on...
IMDb?
What's the L?
What? The L?
It starts with an L. It's very similar to Watch Mojo. But they don't
Listverse?
No.
I've written for Listverse before.
I watch their videos all the time.
It starts with an L.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Watch Mojo. And they have YouTube videos?
Mm-hmm.
Curious. Very curious. It starts with an L. Looper! I've seen Looper's videos before. Okay, Looper. Nice. So that's what the article was on?
Yeah.
Well, Looper, you suck ass.
So either they did it as Mary, or I don't know what it was.
Whatever happened, someone messed up somewhere.
But yeah.
And it wasn't us.
There were a lot of crossovers for that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I never would have put that together, which, like I said, I mean, they're literally the Lost Boys, so that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's like kind of similar to how like Once Upon a Time also takes a dark twist on the Peter Pan story.
So does that mean that Michael is Captain Hook because he's opposing the Lost Boys?
Sure. And he kills Peter Pan.
And then the Frog Boys and Sam is the little creepy pirate guy that walks around with Dr. Hook, Captain Hook all the time. Schmitty, I think Schmitty's right, yeah. Schmitty! yeah, that sounds right. Oh, what a throwback. I haven't watched that movie in forever. That's really cool, though. I love that. There's a lot of, because, like, obviously the Disney movies, like the classic ones like Peter Pan and Cinderella and Snow White are so old. There's a lot of movies that, like, loosely base off of that kind of storytelling. Yeah. That's a really cool tie-in. A lot of Disney
movies also base their stories off of Shakespeare.
Oh, sure.
Lion King's Hamlet.
Hamlet. Yeah, dude. Did you ever see the live-action Lion King?
Mm-hmm.
Was it good?
That was the movie we just saw.
That's
when you ran
right.
Into
when I was going to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the first and only time I ever saw it in theaters.
You lying to you guys?
I saw it once in theaters. I have a life, okay? I've got things to do, okay?
You do, but they only last 10 months. So you guys are lucky that we made it a full year.
Tapping out. So, The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, I never even put it together until I saw that on Looper.
And you had seen the movie a couple times. So did you just find that out this time around for this podcast? Yeah, I found out
this time because I looked up why Max's dog attacked Lucy. It's like, why did Thorne attack Lucy when she came to see him?
Yeah.
And it was because Thorne was just jealous that there was another woman in his life.
Yeah.
And then it said, this is why it's related to Peter Pan. Like, oh, so
that makes sense. Even though it's not really a new woman in his life, he's just trying to kill her, basically.
Make her immortal.
Initiate her, yeah. Very. Doesn't that happen in Twilight too? Isn't that a very big thing in Twilight? Edward is trying to initiate Bella.
No, Bella wants to be a vampire, but Edward says no.
Oh,
and she's like, but I want to spend my whole life, even if it's immoral.
Oh.
And the reason she gets pregnant is because she's still human.
Do you have your face app of the Twilight?
Yes.
Did you already post that on our Instagram? On Coffee and Contemplation?
I put it on our TikTok.
You should put it on the Instagram as well.
I put it on the Instagram, yeah, I did.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at Coffee_C podcast, check out Cam got this face app that he loves, and one of them is where he is Edward and I am Bella, and it looks way too real.
Our video people might be able to...
Oh, I can take it up to them if you want me to. Yeah. You can also check it out on our Instagram and give it a like if you want to, but check this out. Why do I look so much like Bella? Why does it look so real? Okay, video people.
Be careful.
Yeah, we're wired in. We're wired in, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, video people. Oh, is there sound?
Yeah. Just click on the...
Oh no, I turned it off. Oh, Cam.
Your face doesn't look enough like mine that it turned it off. Passcode is required now.
Oh no.
I'm designed to kill. I don't care.
It's the best. I don't care is the best part.
Designed to kill. I don't care.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I used to be a big Twilight nerd.
Really?
My mom took me out of class to go watch the premiere.
Of the first one?
New Moon, the second one.
Nice, that's cool. There's 4 of them?
There's 5 total movies.
Okay.
Breaking Dawn was split into 2 parts.
Oh, that's right. Very Harry Potter-ish.
Breaking Dawn Part 1 is terrible.
Really?
Out of the 5.
Isn't that the one where there's like the big fight though?
No, that's the end of Part 2.
I have seen parts of that big fight scene.
I think Eclipse is the best movie.
Is that the third one? Nice.
I think it goes 3 to Part 2 of 5 or 4, and then 1, and then Part 1 of 4.
Is the first one just called Twilight?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen, obviously, I mean, it was so popular. I've seen clips here and there, but I've never seen the movies.
Been to Forks.
Been to what?
Forks, where it takes place.
Forks, where is that?
Washington.
Oh, really?
You can take a ferry from Seattle to Forks.
That's sweet. That's cool. I've never been to
I've been half-hour ferry ride.
I've been to Seattle, but I've not been like in Seattle. I've been to the airport in Seattle.
That's my favorite place.
I want to go visit.
The world.
I had a 2-hour layover there.
Maybe not in the world, but
I mean, maybe so far in the world.
I don't know. I really liked the Bahamas and the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it's hard to be upset there. Those places are so nice. But yeah, dude, I'm really glad you recommended The Lost Boys, and we covered it for the podcast because for some reason it was just one of those movies I had never seen, and I'm glad we did. And if you guys want to watch it, it's on HBO Max.
HBO Max.
If you have it.
It might still be on Netflix.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's not. We forgot to talk about the Grandpa's Final Line.
Oh yeah, Cam, you can go ahead and say it since it's one of your favorite 80s movies.
You say it, because I don't do it justice, because I mess it up all the time.
What's the name of the city they go to?
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara? So he walks up, there's blood, they killed all the vampires, there's blood all over the fridge. And he walks up and he grabs his root beer and he's like, that's the worst part about Santa Clara. All the vampires.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends.
I think this is all the goddamn vampires.
Yeah, it might be what it is. All the goddamn vampires. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, something like, there's one thing that I've always hated about living in Santa Clara.
Mm-hmm. All the goddamn vampires. And then the movie ends, and I was like, that's amazing, dude. What a great ending line. And that might have propelled the grandpa up into my favorite character in that one line. Yeah.
He brings a taxidermic dog with him on like his date. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's like carrying a taxidermic dog and then puts it in the passenger seat. Do you remember what cologne he uses for his date?
Mm-mm.
Windex.
I missed that. That's hilarious.
He asked Sam to hand him the bottle,
mm-hmm.
And he does, and then Sam like takes a whiff, and then he sprays it on his hands and goes like that, and rubs it on his beard.
That's hilarious. I love he's just a taxidermist like in general because he has the beaver early on in the episode.
That's kind of a jump scare.
Oh yeah, it's just like it's creepy, and then I love Sam just goes, "You're gone, Bucko," and he like gets out of his bed and gets rid of it. I was like, yeah, I would totally get rid of that thing too. I used to have I loved the movie E.T. growing up. Loved it. Is that an 80s movie?
It might be because that's Steven Spielberg, and he made a lot of 80s movies.
I think that's we're gonna add that to the list if that's 80s. It's either late 80s or early 90s. I feel like, but
to be honest with you, I don't really like E.T.
What? Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Cameron, young Drew Barrymore.
The girl from
E.T. Phone Home.
I think it scared me as a kid. That's why I don't like it.
Well,
1982.
Wow, that's ironic because that you say that scared you when you were a kid because my grandma had an E.T. like figurine in my room when we would go stay at her house, and it used to scare the shit out of me.
And then the like government agents and they're like full blown.
Mm-hmm.
What they're wearing during COVID right now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Plus, just like the idea of aliens is scary as shit when you're a kid. Mm-hmm. Super scary.
Mm-hmm. So that might be. Maybe I'll watch it again and not be as scared and like it more. But I did watch it a few years ago and I was like, I just don't like it that much.
So you have seen it semi-recently?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. I loved that movie growing up, but the figurine scared me so bad. Yeah. The part when they were flying on the bikes, though, used to give me chills when I was a kid. That part's awesome.
You brought up Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
You know the sister to Mike in Stranger Things, the little girl?
Oh, yeah?
All her outfits in the second or third season, I don't remember which one, or even the first season.
Yeah.
Are supposed to match Drew Barrymore's character.
Oh, in E.T., mm-hmm. That's really cool. When Stranger Things season 4 does come out, is that going to be our new weekly TV topic?
We can do weekly, but they all come out at
once.
That's
right. It's not like Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. We'll figure that out when it comes out.
Yeah, we can just do a whole episode on the whole season.
And just not do a movie that week or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or we can take the whatever TV show we're doing and do that as the TV show and then do a movie.
I just feel like if we're going to do... I mean, we can figure it out, but I just feel like if we're doing a whole season, I don't know if our TV topics are usually like a half an hour or so. Mm-hmm. I don't know if a half an hour is enough time to cover.
That's true.
Like, we can figure it out. It's not... we don't even know when it's coming out yet. Who freaking knows, dude? Yeah. So next week we'll be back with Falcon and Winter Soldier, episode 2, and maybe Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Maybe E.T. if we can find out how to watch it, but
Rocky Horror Picture Show. We've got a couple of options.
We could even do Rocky.
We could even do...
They have the movie collection on HBO Max.
Just so you know that the original Rocky, I think, is 79, so we might have to fudge the rules a little bit.
I like Rocky 2 more than Rocky 1.
That's asinine, but they're both very good.
What?
That's asinine. The first Rocky movie is so good.
The only person I know that...
Oh, the first Rocky movie is amazing. Are you kidding me?
Well, not saying it's not amazing. I'm saying
the
one person that
the thing about the second Rocky movie is
it's first more than the second.
The thing about the second Rocky movie is it's not as... The thing about the first Rocky movie that makes it so special is you don't know that he's going to go from this spoilers, from this movie that's 50 years old, but you don't know that this boxer who's nothing is going to go fight the best boxer in the world who's never gone the full distance. And even though he doesn't win, he takes him the distance, and that's the amazing part. In the second one, you already know that Rocky's a badass. I'm not saying the second one's bad. I love the second one. I think they go...
You see more of his relationship with Adrian.
Does he yell into the mic at the end, Adrian? Nope.
Gives her a sloppy kiss.
Nope, but in the first one, Adrian! What a great scene. The first Rocky movie is definitely my favorite Rocky movie.
You don't like romance.
Yeah. No, I love romance. But the first Rocky movie is definitely the best Rocky movie. Okay. And we can agree to disagree. Sure. I think it goes 1, 2...
It goes 2, 1, 3, 4.
I think 4 is even better than 3.
Mm.
So we're just all over the map on this.
I think Rocky Balboa is better than Rocky 5.
Well, yeah. That's a hot take, Cam. Hot take. Yeah, Rocky Balboa is awesome. I think both Creed, I haven't seen the second Creed, but I'm sure Creed 2 is even better than Rocky 5. We can agree to disagree on which Rockies are better, but we can both agree that Rocky 5 is trash.
Yes.
Trash movie. And Rocky 3 is not great either.
I love Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang's a cool villain, but there's some weird stuff in Rocky 3, like the robot is kind of weird and stuff like that.
Losing all, Paulie, like, blowing all their money when they're gone.
Yeah. Is it, spoilers again, but is it Rocky 3 when Mickey dies? Yeah, that's an intense... Yeah, that's an intense scene, and then he's driving in the car. I mean, the first 3 Rocky movies are awesome. First 4 Rocky movies are great, and then it makes sense that there was like a 20-year break between Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. Okay.
But obviously, as you guys can tell, we've got a lot of 80s movies to talk about. And let me just get this straight right now, Cam. I love romance. Do you know how many times I've seen Titanic?
Put up your ring, dude.
Okay, just because I like romance doesn't mean people like to romance me. There's a difference, okay?
Oh.
There's a big difference, Cam, okay? We should also definitely do a Titanic episode at some point because that would be amazing. That'll just be part of our 90 segment whenever we start that.
97.
It was 97. Wow.
Year I was born.
Crazy.
It was the highest grossing film for a while.
Yeah, isn't it? It's Avatar
it's
now.
Avatar now.
Or did the Avengers end up beating it?
It beat it, and then they did another release of Avatar in China.
Freaking, they cheated!
That's Disney for you, dude.
And
Disney owns both franchises.
They've also been filming Avatar 2, 3, and 4 for like 15 years at this point now.
2009 was when Avatar 1 came out.
12 years ago? Yeah, and now they want to do, because James Cameron, Titanic guy, and he wants to do kind of like a Lord of the Rings thing where he's filming them all at the same time, and they come out year after year after year.
Yeah, I like that.
I'd be fine with it, but I just want...
Get them out.
Just get them out. I want to see it. I want to see them. I love the first Avatar.
Yeah, they were supposed to have them out in 2020, and then COVID happened.
First Avatar was the first movie I ever bought on my iPod Touch. Remember how you used to be able to buy movies and watch them? And then I would sit there in catering and just listen to the movie.
Yeah,
I would have it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I would have it in my pocket and then just listen to it and be like, this. And an episode of The Office, the stress relief episode with the fire.
Oh, I thought you had the Fun Run episode.
I had that episode too, but the first one I bought was stress relief, and then I ended up buying a lot more after that. Okay. But I would just listen to these while I was doing catering because I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we definitely got a lot off track from Lost Boys.
You've listened to this podcast before. You guys know what it's all about.
But if you guys have not seen The Lost Boys and love 80s movies, this is the perfect 80s movie. It's got the fake like death scene perfect with one of the vampires in the holy water tub.
Yep.
The music is 80s.
There's the montages, everything about it.
Hairstyle.
Yeah.
So
the way they fit,
the lines,
like the editing of the movie is so 80s. It's definitely probably the most 80s movie that I've ever seen in the best way.
So yeah, so if you guys have not seen it, can't recommend it enough.
Absolutely.
And then if you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. And if you have not yet subscribed, do so over here. And if you want to watch our most recent episode, do it right here.